Hey guys, this is m.javedva with another tutorial whether how we can calculate hours worked in Excel with different time formatting. Well, to run a business successfully, individuals or business owners do find themselves in a position to hire people to delegate different business activities they don't find time to complete. And upon hiring people or freelancers, individuals or business owners are required to calculate the time the freelancers will put to complete a task so that they can be paid accordingly. And instead of using time or worked hours calculator, we will calculate and sum up the worked hours manually. Well, let's start from the normal daytime shift, which starts from 9 a.m. and ends at 5 p.m. And here you can see that when I wrote 9 by adding column, Excel recognized and format it as a morning time. And to keep it simple at this point in time, I'm writing the time out as a military time, which is 24-hour clock time, and the Excel recognize it and format it accordingly. Now write the formula to find out the time worked, which is time out minus time in. And here you can see that it has not only calculated the worked time, which is 8 hours, but also picked the formatting too. Now let's suppose it doesn't pick the formatting here. Then it will show the hours like this, which seems strange at first, but if you observe, it's just showing the hours in form of numbers formatting instead of time. And there are 24 hours in a day, and these numbers are in a decimal form, which means that these numbers are actually a certain portion of a day. And if you want to calculate and show the hours in form of numbers formatting, we can just multiply it with the number of hours a day, which is 24. And here you can see that it's giving us 7.9999, which is actually 8 if we round it. But here I'm calculating hours in form of time formatting. So change it back to hours either by going to under time category or custom category and selecting the option of your choice. Anyhow, here instead of writing the time in military form, which is 24 hours clock time, I'm going to write the time in the form of 12 hours clock time. And when you will write it in the form of 12 hours clock time, you must mention whether it's AM or PM so that the Excel can recognize it accordingly. And now just drag your formula down to calculate the worked hours. Well, here I am going to write only morning time shift, which means that it will start from 2 a.m. and ends at 10 a.m. In that scenario, if you write the numbers by adding columns, the Excel will recognize it as time and will calculate it accordingly. And here you can see that I haven't added AM, but still Excel recognized it as morning time. Now the same example for the evening shift. Here, while writing the 12-hour clock time, you must mention PM if you want it to be recognized as evening shift. And then just drag the formula down to calculate the worked hours. Now what remains is the midnight shift, and let's say it starts from 10 p.m. and ends at 5 a.m., which means the date has changed. And when we drag the formula down to calculate the worked hours, it just gives us a problem in the form of hashes. And when we hover over our cursor on it, the pop-up message shows that dates and times that are negative or too large to show as. Now, what Excel considers is that 12 a.m. is always the beginning time of a day, and the 11:59 p.m. is always the ending time of a day, which means that Excel is considering the 5 a.m. as the start time and 10 p.m. as the shift end time. So instead of calculating 10 p.m. to 5 p.m., it's calculating 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. And that's exactly why it's giving us the problem. So to solve this problem, we can use a function named mod, which has two arguments. The first one is the number, which is time out minus time in, and the second argument is the divisor, which is 1. Now close the formula and hit enter. And here you can see that the worked hours have been calculated accurately. Now at this point in time, we have two different formulas working in this column. If you want, just drag the mod function to apply it to all the cells. Now let's sum all the worked hours. Here it's giving us a strange sum of the worked hours, which is confusing. Well, the solution is hidden under the proper formatting. Let's turn it into a general formatting first. Now it's giving us the R's in form of numbers, and if you can read it properly, you will understand that it's giving us the right calculation. Here 1 is equal to 24 hours, which becomes a day, and the rest of the numbers are representing the portion of the next day. Well, for now I am going to copy and paste it into another cell, and I will prove it by counter checking it in a mint. Now open the formatting window, and instead of going and selecting any option under the time category, go to the custom category and select this option and remove the last part of it if you want, so that it only shows the worked hours and minutes. And here you can see that the total worked hours are 39, and if we select the range of the worked hours, the Excel itself gives us the sum, which is 39. Well, in one scenario we have just counter checked the worked hours. Now let's counter check the worked hours by calculating this figure, which we copy paste earlier, by turning it into a general formatting. Well, we know that there are 24 hours in a day, and when we converted time formatting to general formatting, it showed this figure, which means 1 is equal to a day, and there are 24 hours in a day, and these numbers show the portion of the next day. Now open calculator and minus 1 from 1.625. Which left us with 0.625. And we know that there are 24 hours in a day, so just multiply it with 24, which gives us 15. It means that 0.625 is equal to 15 hours. So write it there. And when you sum it up, it gives us 39. Now let's change the shift timing so that it includes minutes too, and copy and paste the figure by turning it into a general formatting. Now we know that this figure is equal to 38 hours and 30 minutes, and exactly the same way we will calculate this figure too, which means 1 is equal to 24 hours. Subtract it from the figure and then multiply these numbers with 24 to calculate the hours of the next day. Which becomes 14 hours. Now subtract 14 from this figure, and we know that there are 60 minutes in an hour. So multiply it with 60, which gives you 30 minutes, and the rest of the portion of the figure is not of that importance unless you want to calculate seconds too. Now sum them up, which becomes 38 hours and 30 minutes. Now we counter check the hours twice, which gives us the same results. Anyhow, this is how you can calculate worked hours in Excel with different time formatting. And if you have stayed this far, please consider liking and subscribing, and I hope this will be helpful for someone out there, and thanks for watching.